everything has been sabotaged, and you can't. So nothing on there can be eaten. And so basically we have no gear for fish. We have nothing. We just planning for 2 day trip, and now we are tripping over 10 days and without water and anything. And the first week and two, there's a couple rain drop and then you can catch it, and then we were surviving with a tablespoon or teaspoon a day and with no food, and we our body start shutting
It's
down
still,
after so long.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the Grow Yourself Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin McNulty, and this is your personal development school of growth, where each week my guests and I will bring and break down big ideas and practices that will help you learn, grow, and succeed in life. Thanks for checking us out. Now let the growth begin. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Grow Yourself, your personal development school of growth. I'm Kevin McNulty, your host, and I'm here to invite guests, have conversation about learning and growing and changing and improving your life. And my job really is to ask questions and to break down these ideas relative to personal growth and life that will help you. Today, I have a guest that I have, in all transparency, I have known him for a long time. In fact, his family and my family have been friends for many, many years. Gosh, it's been, I think, at least 15 years, maybe something like that. And my wife taught and is teaching their kids piano. So I know these people very well. But a few years ago, um, my guest's daughter wrote a book about my guest. And it was for a project really she had in high school. And I read it and was just completely blown away. I had no idea about what I was reading. And then I read it again, and I wanted to have him on as a guest for so long, and I just am honestly privileged that he's here to speak on Grow Yourself. And so my guest is Ken Cheng. Kenneth Cheng has over 20 years of management and leadership experience in the architectural design services. As he excelled in this arena, Ken was inspired to establish Signature Designs Group LLC. That's his business, a design, build, construction management company, which has thrived in this community for more than 17 years, and has earned his Bachelor's of Arts from Spring Garden College in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and has his Master's in Architect from Miami University in Oxford, Ohio. But let me tell you something. This is not what we're going to talk about. It's not about architectural design and all the incredible things that he does right now. What I just read to you, is a result of an incredible journey that we're going to talk about. It's mind blowing. I'll tell you, the book, it's a short read, but it reads like this, like this suspense novel or something like this, but it's all true. And he's going to take me through the story. I'm not going to throw a spoiler out to you. I'm just going to invite Ken on right now and let him tell you for himself. So, Ken, welcome to Grow Yourself. Thank you so much for appearing here with us.
Thank you. I'll be honored.
Well, listen, Ken, you know, we've talked about this a number of times, and I'm just so glad to have you here as a podcast guest. But your story, that your daughter Hannah wrote, I'm sure, obviously, with your help and other people's help in your family, is just, I mean, I've heard stories like this before, but this is just incredible. And so I'm just so glad that you're here to tell us about it. Would you just can tell the listeners, just a little bit about, who you are right now, and then start from where you were born, and let's just go through the story. I mean, the story tells everything that our audience needs to know
Okay.
about you.
Maybe I go slightly further back and uh,
Please.
telling where I actually came from.
Okay.
My father migrated to Vietnam after the Japanese War, and he was a Japanese, trying to get into the pilot, fighting the Japanese, and he didn't qualify by any
Oh.
chance because of the health reason, and so he resided on the north sides of Vietnam, and until the war was over, and then he migrated to Vietnam, and then he discovered the economic of Vietnam is extremely, poverty at the time, and he established his business over there, and then slowly moving his own parents over and siblings over, and then I was born there. And same thing on my mom's side of family. Also, my from my great grandmom, great granddad migrated to Vietnam, and then my mom was born in Vietnam. So basically, both of my parents came from China and migrated to Vietnam and being living over there for
I see.
years.
So they lived on in China, but as I recall, that it's sort
Mhm.
of on the border of China and North Vietnam is where it was, correct?
Correct. Yeah,
And
it's
so
directly above Vietnam is China.
right,
Yeah, so
and
it's just
so
a border.
they then immigrated to North Vietnam
Yeah.
and then
Mm-hmm.
later to South Vietnam, where
It's
you
South
were born,
Vietnam.
correct?
Yes, correct. I was
Okay,
born in Saigon.
in
Yeah,
Saigon. Oh, okay.
yeah, Saigon.
Now
Yeah.
your father, I believe it was, or maybe even farther back. I'm trying to remember the chronology here. Was quite successful though, correct?
He's a very, very successful businessman. I think I got a little bit of him. Lucky.
I would say so.
Yeah, so he was a very successful entrepreneur. So nobody teach him, and he just stumbling to his career by by chance. So he did have tremendous success in the lumber uh
Okay.
lumber field of the business. And
Yeah.
basically, he buy lumber from the country and he mill it, and then he cut the wood into different sections and pieces and quality and sell for furniture for constructions. So he got four of those factory.
Wow. And this was
Four.
in Vietnam, by the way, in South
Yeah.
Vietnam? Okay.
Yeah, so he has four factory that does all the milling, and of course a few that it's just a storefront to sell the lumber, but the milling factory he got four of that.
Wow.
So of course he got several partner that helps him to run the other branches,
Sure.
and that's how this all came about. Being importing lumber logs from countryside that they cut down, and they transport from boat, so
Wow.
from river.
Yeah.
And so that's how this is all started, after the communists took over, and life changed dramatically. And
Give us
and
a year of, are we talking about just
1975, when the US
what,
troop
okay.
withdraw, and
Yeah. The
the
Vietnam
North
War. Yeah.
Vietnamese call it a victory.
Yeah.
And then they came to the city, and then they start governing South Vietnam.
Yes.
And obviously they are communists, and then they took
Yeah.
over the government, and everything changed.
Yeah.
From there on, everything changed.
Yeah. So before you go there, though, Ken, I would like to, because I want this context for the audience as you start to go through the story.
Uh,
Tell me a little bit about your mother and your siblings. Just let us know who they are, what they were
okay.
like. Yeah.
Yeah, my father came from South China, where Guangzhou is directly above North Vietnam, and my mother is the province next to Guangzhou, also in a smaller village. And they both came from South China, so they all speak Cantonese. So
Okay.
northern China speak more likely Mandarin.
Mandarin. Yeah.
South China speak Cantonese, just like Hong Kong.
Okay.
So one language does not speak to the other. So so basically it's a completely different dialect
Okay.
for the language. But anyway, both of my parents came from South China, and migrated to Vietnam. And my dad, I don't know what age he came to China, Vietnam, but assuming very young. So next time I will check with my mom, and I don't know that
Yeah.
information. But anyway, and of course, my father runs his own business, and my mom is a stay-home mom, and I have four other siblings, and one older brother and one younger brother, and two younger sister.
Yeah.
And so I've been very blessed, and then we are very close in
Yeah.
relationship, and still is. And that's a blessing. I know
That's
a
a
lot of
blessing.
siblings don't talk, and they don't
Yeah.
get along, but we
Yeah.
do. And I
Yeah.
guess it's a well raised from my parents. to be
Absolutely.
honest. Yeah. So
So let me just ask, as you recall, particularly when you were living in Vietnam, in Saigon, tell me just a little bit about what your mother was like. What was she like as a person, particularly back then? She's still alive, and I think where is she residing?
she's turning 84 in a couple of
Wow,
days.
bless her.
Uh no, 83, I'm sorry. She's
Okay.
turning 83 in a couple of days, and she just a stay-home mom, and raising five kids and 1 year apart, and you can see the and of course she got a lot of help.
Yeah.
uh Being my grandmom is living with us,
Mm.
and we also have a maid, and so with that help, and then she raised five kids and 1 year apart, and of course my sisters are further apart. Okay, so it's not no longer 1 year. The first three boys 1 year apart,
Yeah.
and then skip 2 more years, and then I have sister, and then skip another 2 years to have the younger sister.
Wow.
So
Are they
so it
all in the
was like
States now?
short term, and all five kids
Yeah.
are born.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
We got her
Okay.
handful. Yeah.
Yes, yes, I'm a
Yeah.
product of five kids
Yeah.
as well, so I get that. So okay, so 1975 comes around, the Vietnam War ended, the USA leaves, the
Yeah.
communists take over, and tell us what happened from there.
Okay, as soon as they take over, and obviously the first thing they do is they change the currency.
Mm.
Okay. So I mean, most people, earn the living and put money in the bank just like us over here, because we're living in a governed by US, and then we have the same democracy and over there until the communists took over. And they changed the currency, whatever the currency at the time is no longer valid. And they changed that, and you bring in bags of currency, and then
Wow.
you only allow by head count. And head count meaning the government say, hey, you have seven in your family, and then I don't know the amount, you entitled 2,000 per adult and 1,000 per kid, and that's you bring in million, you only get that amount
Wow.
by head count.
Wow. So to be clear though,
Okay,
that all the money that you had or that your father and mother had as a family, it
gone,
is gone. So it's so
depleted. It's just no
nothing.
longer valid. It's
Wow.
no value to it.
Goodness.
So everything. So they didn't do it one time, they did it three times.
Oh wow.
So the first time around, they, exchange a lot more. Second time, they strip it down. The third time, they limit it by head count. And so basically, they make sure you're poor.
Yeah.
They make sure you're poor, and they make sure that they have better control of, what they tell you to do.
Mm.
So of course, it's just no different from any communism. It's a
Yeah.
sweet talk, and then they're getting
Yeah.
you into
Yeah.
a different scenario, and they limited you what you can buy, from the zone that you're living in,
Yeah.
and you gotta go to the governmental facility to buy meat, to buy daily product, and they only limit you, what you can buy. And obviously you're limited with money too, so
Yeah.
so basically they limited you what you can get. And at the time, and of course, they not just doing currency change, but they start taking over businesses. Okay, they started
Wow.
with business importing and exporting, and they took those business first, and they expel those people to countryside. This is the reasoning. They said,
Interesting.
you got your life well before, and then now it's your turn to go to the country and to do the farming. They took your business.
Wow.
Yeah.
So took your
Okay.
father's businesses, right? The
And
four
then my
factories.
father was a local business, and it was the last they took. So, but they did take over. They took everything, all factory and all storefront, and
Yeah.
they took everything. And then my father is the labor now. He's no longer in the office and
Wow.
directing what to do and what to to run the business. And he's now at the factory and milling wood, and come home with backache. I mean, when you're not in that for
No.
years, and then now you into labor, and it put toes on your
It's
body. And
hard
then
work.
of
Yeah.
course my father was aging too at the time. He's in
Yeah.
the middle of 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, so came home back ache, and they depleted your wealth, and they took over your business. It's no longer yours, and what's left for you? No life. Yeah, there is no life. And then as a kid, I remember we have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and then line up in the cemetery, and you have to do exercise as they told you to. Sing the stupid song, the government song.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we wake up and then we started at 4 o'clock in the morning in the
Wow.
cemetery.
Why
Exercise.
why the exercise? I mean, they didn't want you to
Because
be
they tell you
healthy.
to. Because they tell you
Okay,
to.
just it.
I
That's it.
mean, there's no reason. They said it's good for you. You gotta go.
Trying to
You
take
gotta be
control
in
of
the
your
group.
mind and your
So,
body. I see.
yeah, so they set the rule. Basically,
I
you
see.
have to you have no way not following it,
Right.
because you have to follow. They tell you so, and you have to do it. So as a kid, waking up 3 o'clock in the morning and jumping, hoop, over the cemetery. Kids don't know
Yeah.
anything better,
No.
and
No.
then just having fun, I guess. Didn't know
Yeah.
what's better.
Do you recall, Ken, what was kind of what was going through your mind at the time as a 12-year-old kid? I mean, do you recall sort of what was I mean,
It's no,
I know,
I mean,
were you
we
just
we we know,
confused
we
or
kind of know, but we don't know a whole lot of
right.
changes because it's all burden to the parents. The parents doesn't tell us about, hey,
I
we are
see.
in financial situation, hey, we are about
Oh,
to lose
wow.
everything. We don't know
Wow.
any of that
I
until
see.
when we become adult. And
Yeah.
at the time, we just like normal kid,
Yeah.
we do whatever people tell us to do,
Right. I see.
and then we don't know any better, to be honest
Okay.
with you. I don't recall any better or worse during the time of communists, but we just did what we told to do.
How
So
interesting. Wow.
yeah.
Okay, so they took over your businesses and you all now are poor and so what happens next?
Okay, my mom is a very smart woman. Okay, my dad makes bags and bags of money every every week. So my mom already foresee that this is coming, and she already told my dad, hey, let's get the money, go to Hong Kong and buy a property, and then move the family over there. So she feel that this is coming. My dad said, no, US will not lose the war, and we're not going anywhere. And besides, my money needs to be reinvest, and then build a business, bigger and bigger, just like any
Sure.
typical businessman. And they thrive for different opportunity and things like that. But my mom, whatever my dad allowed my mom to have to run the family, and in any addition money, my mom bought gold. Gold, what
Wow.
what is saving our lives.
Wow.
We didn't have a whole lot of gold, but we lived off gold for 3 years. We live off gold for 3 years. Every month, my mom has to sell some gold. So in
Wow.
Vietnam, we go by gram. We didn't go by ounces.
Sure.
So a stick of gold has 2 pieces, and then every month, my mom's have to sell one of that to live, just to live. Yeah,
Wow. But she
because
surely
my
didn't
dad is no longer generating income, so they
right.
limit you what you make. They limit you, what. So therefore we have a supplement kind of money.
Yeah.
Where you can get supplement money, you can do
Yeah.
a part-time job over there.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
then
Right.
other than that, you sell your
Right.
belonging.
Right.
Yeah, so we fortunate that my mom did save up some gold that my
Wow.
dad was not aware about.
He didn't know she was saving it?
He probably know, but not knowing how much she
Oh,
had.
I see.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, so then we live off gold for 3 years, and then my mom, uh she's the one who plot this whole thing now. And I find this fascinating myself too. Being a woman, never had 1 day of education. My mom
Wow.
does not have a chance to go to school
Wow.
because my grandmom is very poor. My grandmom was being a widow when she was 29 with 6 kids. 6 kids. My mom is the fourth one. So just to make it short, and then they struggle. They struggle. They don't even have anything to grow up with. So my mom came from very, very poor family because of the granddad died. And then, she's 29. She struggled with 6 kids. But
Wow.
anyway, with the help of uncle, of course,
Yeah.
to
Sure.
raise
Sure.
to,
Sure.
to raise and all that.
Yeah.
But my mom never have a chance to go to school. And when she turned 20, 21, and she decided to get herself into school. And she did, go like not part-time, but like night school to learn the Chinese.
I
She
see.
had 2 years of that. Okay. But she is a very smart woman. With the 2 years of education today, she can read all the paper.
Wow.
She can read paper. She can read the Bible, the Chinese Buddha Bible,
Wow.
and I mean, she just pick up things quick, and as smart, and I hope I got a little bit of my mom too.
Yeah.
So
I'm pretty sure
so
you
she is
did.
a super smart woman, and then
Yeah.
she see this is coming, and she
Yeah.
see all this is happening, and my dad know that, hey, now we broke, and where are we gonna get money to leave the country? My mom said, let's do this.
So let me just stop you there though, Ken, because you said that your mom, with virtually no education, plotted this whole thing. So obviously the audience doesn't know where you're going with this. So what did she plot?
Okay, so because you cannot survive over there by breaking your bank and selling one stick of gold every month. And so my mom see, hey, there's no future. You don't see the light in the tunnel, so you don't know what to expect next. So
Wow.
my mom know that our business is depending on the country people to ship us law. Okay, so with the partner of shipping, they have both, but each member 10 stick of gold.
It
It's
w-
already been, people are trying to escape the country, and that's been the norm of what's charging. 10 stick of gold per person, five,
wow.
maybe 5, 7 stick of gold per kid.
So your
Okay.
mother is plotting this plan to
Mm-hmm.
escape the country,
Yes.
and she's she knows this person who has a boat who will help you all escape,
Yeah.
but he's charging 10 sticks of gold for each person, and there's seven of you.
Yes. So this person is Mr. Yun. Mr. Yun is a partner of my dad, and he takes care of the import and export. And my dad received the product he bring. And then my mom know Mr. Yun has the bow and have the ability to
I see.
escape.
Yeah.
And then my mom proposed to my dad, let's get Yun to come to our house, and then I prepare dinner and let me take care of the conversation. My dad said, no, it cannot be done because we don't have that money. We don't have that money to even, or not even close to get, one adult to leave, and, and, and my mom said, don't worry about it. Just bring him there. And then we start a conversation, see where it takes us to. And then, like my mom, during that 3 years of, depleting our wealth and living off gold. And my mom turned help, my mom turned, you're getting into a depression. And my mom feel like, she's losing it. And she turned to God. Okay. She find faith in God. So she start, going to temple, and she's loving it. And
Wow.
that's how she spent her time, just like us over here going to church. Over
Yes.
in Asia, we go to temple. Okay. And then she find, faith over there, and then she's loving it, and she established a lot of friends over there for that 3 years. And then of course I jump out of a little bit of the content. And when Mr. Yin did come to our house for dinner, and my mom said, hey, Mr. Yin, you know is your boat when is your boat ready, and whether you still can accept more people. And Mr. Yin said, no, we just started it, and then we still accepting people. And my mom said, look, this is my 5 kids, and me and my husband, and then I have another cousin and her kid. coming along with us. It's 9 of us. How much is going to cost us? Okay. And Mr. Yin, did a little bit thinking. He said 47 grand. It was really cheap.
Cheap,
So
yeah,
because there's a bunch of kids,
because
and then
typically it
only
was
3
about
adults.
half, basically, because that would have really been 90.
Right. So
Okay,
so
gotcha,
basically
yeah.
he take half because of the relationship of my dad. My mom said, Mr. Yin, I have all my siblings in Hong Kong, which is true. All my uncles and aunts lives in Hong Kong, except us living in Vietnam. And my mom said, Mr. Yin, take my 10 gram. I'll bring you the 30 gram, next couple of weeks. The last 7 gram, when we escape, I can get it from my sibling and pay you back. And Mr. Yin was so generous. He said, since you saying that, I'll take 40. He eliminated 7. My mom right there and then gave the person, Mr. Yin, 10 gram right there for deposit to make sure that we in it. We in it.
Yeah.
So where are we gonna get the 30 gram? Okay. Because we still have to save some for living. We don't know when we can leave. So we can only afford to, put in 10 at the time. And, with 5 kids and with no job and no income. And it's very, very stressful. But she turned to the mom. Okay. Hey, mom, I don't remember her name or their name. And, hey, we are plotting a boat escaping. And it's 10 gram per person. And it's super safe. It's because it's our partner. The monk say one word, everybody believe it. Just like, you go to the church, and then if the pastor will say, hey, this is what you should do, and and people will listen.
So the monk is like the spiritual leader?
Spiritual leader.
Okay.
And then he said, oh, Mrs. Chen is plotting a boat, and it's 10 gram, and it's very safe. And then there's, because when you do all this, it's got to be underground, under the, underground, under the table. The government cannot know about this.
And you don't know who to trust.
You go to jail. You go to jail. Yeah. So my mom plotted all that, and then, let the word out in the temple, and the monk automatically, express it out to, some of the people over there. And of course, among those people, some of them is super rich, super wealthy, put it that way. So the monk said, hey, this woman with the son is very wealthy, and the husband already passed, and they want to leave. They want to make sure it's safe. And my mom said, 30 gram. They said, no problem. I'll bring you 30 gram. That's how my mom got the 30 gram. Wow. I find that out, after the fact. And my mom told me all this story, how we came up with the money. And
so you knew her as mom, but she was a businesswoman too.
Yeah, she plotted all this, and she planned all this, and then waited. 1 year went by. The boat's still not ready, because a lot of prep work to do, and a lot of strategy to set, and so forth. And then guess what? The lady and the son said, I'm backing out. They're a bigger boat now, bigger ship that I can park. Like I'm not gonna come with you. My mom said, how am I supposed to pay you back the 30 grand? We already deposited it. We didn't, she said, don't worry about it. I'm not taking it.
Wow.
Yeah, you can, because I decided to leave, I'm not taking the money. And guess what? The monk take over the seat, the 2 seat, the monk. Wow. So she took over the 2 seat, and then she got a goddaughter coming with her, and then waited another months, and months go by again. Didn't happen. She decided not to go too. And then she sold the 2 seat to a lady and a teenager, like 19 years old. Yeah. So she said, I can't go with you now, but I sold my 2 seats to this 2 person. So she took the money. Actually, she made that money. So basically, it was a blast that that teenager and this woman came with us. She did tremendous amount of help during the course of escaping.
So
Yeah,
let me just
because
put
we
it.
are so young. We are so
Yeah,
young. My mom and my
sure.
dad cannot handle all 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me kind of push us forward a little bit here. Just
Uh,
so okay. So at what point did you finally uh, get ready to leave? And did anything significant happen between now and the time that you get ready to leave? Just so that I don't want to skip an important piece here.
No, other than, struggle to
Yeah.
daily life. And then my
Yeah.
mom has to learn the path of, all the plot. You have to go down to the countryside, and then you got to learn the path where to get to, from a little
Oh
boat under
wow.
it's in the picture that on the book, you go under, where they take a dump. That's
Yeah.
where you go down.
Oh,
And
in the
then that's where
sewer.
the river. So you go to a little tiny boat that could fit 2, 3 people. They rowed you out to a medium sized boat that has a small motor that could
Oh
fit
wow.
maybe 5, 7 people.
Oh
And
wow.
then you go to the canal and you go to the final boat. So it's a 3 trip. So my mom has to go down to the country and learn that path.
I see.
And it's not like over here we have a street name. No,
Yeah.
it's
No.
a
No.
country.
It's a
It's
country.
dirt road, and it's just all over the
Wow.
place. Houses are all over the place. You gotta learn the path, how to navigate to the
So
to
she
the.
would go by herself to learn the path, and then
She got
eventually,
she
yeah,
got a friend, you know, to go with her.
I
The
see.
friend is also came with us on that. My
I see.
mom did they introduced 3 more friends, a lot to Mr. Yin,
I
so
see.
that Mr. Yin can make up the money. So
Yeah.
each of these person does paid in 15,
Yeah.
10 to 15 grand. So Mr. Yin ultimately did make his money through
Yeah.
the relationship and the recommendation from my mom. The long story short, being a Chinese woman, nowhere near looking like a country woman, darker complexions, and the dress and all that. I mean, you just don't look like a
A
country
country
person.
woman. Yeah.
So when you go down there, and then you're gonna be spotted, just like that, because it's just like you go into Africa, people are gonna see you. Hey, you stick out like a sore thumb because
Yeah.
you don't look the same.
Right. 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 Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So my mom was really, afraid, get caught and not being able to come back. If you
Wow.
get caught, you're in jail, you're not coming back, you know. So my mom was really scared to learn, just go down to the country, and then she got to dress, like a country woman, and you have to file to the government, say, hey, I have to leave this city, and I have to go to this country. You have to tell the government, because
Wow.
along the way they check on you. You have to have
Yeah.
paperwork to tell
Wow.
them where you're going. So my mom did apply to all that and go to the countryside. Long story short, she did navigate to to learn all the path, and she came back safe and sound.
Did she write it down, or did she just memorize it,
No,
or
she's memorized. Like I said, my mom is a super smart woman.
that's
Yeah,
great.
she
So smart.
memorized, and she does have the navigation system. In her, see, I 2 times I'm lost, and she just know where she going.
Wow.
To side note, my mom doesn't speak English, but she travel around the world.
Wow.
She go to Hong Kong, she go to China by herself, she come to Tennessee, she go to Hawaii to visit me by herself.
Wow.
I mean, she's an amazing woman.
Wow.
This is all she learned. She's coming to Hawaii, all she learned is Honolulu.
Wow.
And then when she go to the airport, she said, hey, mister, can you tell me where to go? I need to go to Honolulu. And people would direct her, hey, you gotta go to this gate. That's all she learned. She learned what she need at the moment. And so she nav I mean she be able to travel
Yeah.
by herself.
Yeah.
And so
Okay, so
83
take
months.
us, Ken, to leading up to the time that you're going to leave now,
Okay.
Saigon.
Okay. So when the time's up, and then we all bundling into a army type of truck, and then the surrounding broken furnitures and cage of chickens and pig, and just like a livestock and thing. Humans are buried in the middle, so we have to be covered with blankets and uh you know literally hidden inside the truck.
Wow.
Even to get on that truck, we have to leave like midnight, so there's nobody out on the road. So we parked it right behind our factory, so nobody ever go there. And then that's where we take off. And then we all got on. The trip took us one day, a little bit over one day, in July, in Vietnam.
Whew.
You can imagine the
I can
humidity.
imagine. And
And then no,
how many people was
I
this
don't remember. It was like over 20, 30 people in
in
the
this
truck,
truck
inside the truck.
in
So it was
July?
like a sardine. Yeah, it was like sardine and packed in there. So
Wow.
there's no room for leg and no room for leaning over or
No.
something. So we're literally rubbing each other. And but the bouncing with unpaved road, and when you go down to the country, and then you can only go so fast, and it was dusty and it was hot, it was humid, and it was inside the
Yeah.
canopy under the truck.
Yeah.
And it was 1 day trip to go to Kamau from
Wow.
Saigon.
So, but let me ask, Ken, so do you
Uh-huh.
recall, so you're in this truck laying
Mhm.
down,
I don't remember. Probably sit up. I
sitting?
remember like sitting up
Do you
or
remember what you were thinking though? I mean, do you
scared.
remember? You were
It
just
was just
scared. Yeah.
scary moment, just because of my mom. We totally aware what we're doing, because my mom could
Yeah.
speak to us, when every time Mr. Yin come over to our house for a meeting for the next to strategize the trip. And so we were
Yeah.
aware of that we are escaping.
Right.
Yeah.
So what was, but I'm curious about this, Ken. What was she saying to you and your siblings about what's happening here? I mean, was she just sort of pragmatic and straightforward, or was she encouraging, or she just made it happen? I mean, I'm curious about what she was conveying to you all about what's about to happen here.
Well, since we are aware what the escape is, because during that 3 years, and people's been talking about
Yeah,
escaping, being caught, being killed, we already aware what to
I
expect.
see.
So
I see.
as a 12, 13 years old, and I understand things,
Yeah,
and only my two sister might not. She's
yeah,
only 6 years old,
yeah.
and for being 12, 13 years old, I understand things pretty
Wow.
well. Even the meeting in
Yeah.
our house, and then we are playing and banging up the sound, just so that the street people pass our house will
Can,
not know what's going on, and kind of things. We
wow.
we kind of
Yeah.
deflected the situation when they have a
Situation.
meeting.
What may I
Yeah.
ask real quick though? What about your father at this point?
Oh, my father was with us with
Okay.
along with this whole trip. I
And
mean,
he
he's
was
all
just
in it.
following your mom's lead on
Yep.
this?
Yeah.
Very
So
nice.
because of being my father being a connector, I call it a connector.
Yeah.
Without my father, we cannot connect it to Mr.
Got it.
Yin.
Yeah.
And then my mom is just a
She
plot.
just
It's
had the
just a
plan. Yeah.
thinker in
Wow.
behind. And
That's
my dad
incredible.
is actually doing the real thing by him with Mr. Yin.
That's
Okay, because
fantastic.
they are partner.
Yeah.
Okay, so my mom is the thinker in the
Yeah.
background.
What a great
Okay.
combination, honestly. I mean, one is I guess you could say the influencer,
It's
and the
a
other one
doer,
is,
and then it's a
yeah.
thinker. You have
Wow.
a doer, you have a thinker.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so
Yeah.
you're in the truck, you're traveling for a day.
Yeah.
Tell
We
us about
finally
that.
landed in Kamau, where my mom. See, this time we don't have paperwork. It's just sneaking into the country. It's
Mm,
like we're moving to the country, and the government will not stop you. They encourage people to go farming. Okay. When
I
they
see.
see truck like that, looking like you're moving to the country, they don't stop you.
I
Just
see.
because you are moving to the country, they encourage you.
I see.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Okay. So we down in the country, safe and sound, and then it was pouring down rain, and it was 6 o'clock in the morning, and the sun start. I mean the sky start lit it up a little bit. It was kind of still dark when we land, when we park over there, and then we all put on a raincoat and cover, and that gives us a good excuse to hide who we are in identity. Because
Oh,
all
wow.
the city kid and all the city people
Sure.
don't look anywhere near the country people,
I see.
because
Very
because our
interesting.
complexion is different, our facial and our
Mm,
attire is different. So so we, even though we dress up like country people, and we still look different, and then we be
Yeah.
able to, every that's when the two teenager and the woman, young woman, come along with us.
Mm.
They are helping us, because my mom, there's no way to haul 5 kids,
Yeah.
to bring five
Yeah.
kids with her. You stick out like
Yeah.
a sore thumb already.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing
Well,
that.
she's focused on the plan, so she wants to
Yeah.
probably keep her
So
mind.
basically, we follow her. Okay. So we break up 2 kids with one adult, 2 kids
Mm.
with one adult, and then we just follow one to the other.
Yeah. Okay.
So instead of traveling, like a duck crossing the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you will
Yeah.
stick out
Yeah.
like a sore thumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically, we on in raincoat. It was pouring down rain, and people are not out on the street because
Yeah.
it was God help.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so we follow 3 people at a time, and then we get to the same, like I told you earlier, to that little hut, and then we we ladder down
Mm.
to the dirty water and get on a small boat, and then get into the bigger boat, and that period of time, we didn't have water, we didn't have food. By the time we got onto the main boat, that was already 2 days. So during the course of going from a middle bowl to the big bowl, that little girl already screaming. She's already screaming, "I'm drowning you, I'm killing you." That
Which
little
okay,
girl.
but tell us about this little girl a little bit though. So where did she come from?
She is just another member, to join up,
With
and
your group, or they came with another
they
group?
can't. We all gather to
Okay.
come out to
Okay.
leave from there to get to the
Okay.
big bowl.
Got
We
it.
all came from different part of the
Yeah.
city.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't know each other.
Yeah.
We do not know each other.
Yeah.
So my mom came from Saigon. They may come from wherever.
Wherever.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
but anyway, she
But
was
tell us
on the
about this little girl and the mom, though, about where they came from, because that's an important part of the story later on.
yeah. They also like Chinese people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just like us, and I don't know what they do.
Just some random people that were
They're
part of
just
this.
random
Okay.
people with a
Yeah.
2-year-old kid.
Yeah. But you
They
said
just
the
barely
2-year-old
speak.
kid started acting right from the beginning, very odd, right? This
Very,
kid?
very odd to be, according to the parent, she does not say things like that. She was never exposed to water. She was never exposed to countryside.
Oh.
And nobody taught her that, I'm killing you, I'm drowning you. I
Yeah.
don't know where that came from.
Yeah, but let me back up just a second, Ken, so just to
Mhm.
make sure that the people listening, because I've read the book and they don't understand. So you all arrive in this place to then everybody get on the bigger boat,
Uh-huh.
and this woman and her 2-year-old little girl came, and and sort of and like you just said, they seemed rather normal, right? And the mother, said that she didn't know anything about the water or any of these sorts of things. But suddenly, this little girl starts saying things to
Things.
you, right? Or
Well,
just in
screaming,
general, or just screaming.
screaming.
What was
She's
she
screaming.
screaming?
I drown you and I kill you.
I mean,
Drowning you, killing you. And guess what? She's speaking Cantonese.
wow,
You can't speak Cantonese in the country, and you be
I see.
spotted right away. And then of course, the teenager that came with us is the one that held her down,
I see.
and the parent didn't have the gut to kind of suffocating the kid. And
I see.
you do whatever you want, we don't want to get caught. And you silent the kid, and otherwise we
Wow.
all get caught. And from that middle boat to travel to the final boat on along the canal, windy
Yeah.
canal, and literally, pitch dark, you can't see anything, but
Yeah.
the
Who
little
knows
kid is
who's
screaming.
where and who's listening? Yeah.
Yeah. So the little kid is screaming, and then they were silent until she was like suffocating, cannot breathe, and then they release her. The moment you release her, and she catch up with her breath, and she's screaming again. And
Wow.
then during that course,
Yeah.
I don't remember how long that course was, but it was scary.
But
And as a kid
yeah.
along on that
Yeah.
boat, it was scary
Yeah.
moment,
So
being knowing that we can get caught.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it sounds like two things were going on here. One was just the fact that she was screaming, and making everybody nervous that you're going to get caught. But the second thing is what she's screaming. I'm going to drown you. I'm going to kill you. I mean, this is a 2-year-old child.
There's
And so you,
2-year-old child never exposed to water, and nobody taught her how to say stuff like that.
and so,
It came out of nowhere. The parents said it came out of
wow.
nowhere. It
Okay.
was just like so weird. Things
Yeah.
happen. What it
Yeah.
happens, and it just kind of weird, where the
Yeah.
little girl picks up stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we finally saved to get on the big boat,
Okay.
and the big boat was prepared with a lot of water for 2-day trip.
Okay.
Okay, so it was like
2-day trip.
yeah, the 20-gallon plastic can, they have maybe 30, 40 of them. But as soon as, all people got on board, it was 104 people. And we are traveling 2 days in the hot, humid day and never have food and water. Guess what? We literally almost consumed all of it already.
Wow.
104 people, got on the boat. It was not much left after we all got on board.
Wow.
And then it was those drinking water was prepared for the trip for 2 days from Kamau, and we were hoping to get to Malaysia because that was the shortest distance, traveling distance.
I see.
And then
now the boat barely fit all these people, right?
no, it's not fitting. I can tell you how big the boat is. It's 15 meter by 3 meter. 3 meter is 15 feet wide.
15, so 3 feet
75 feet long.
for 104 people.
104 people. It's just exactly like the movie they made for the refugee that escaping.
Yeah.
You literally, sleeping on the deck of the boat and
Wow.
hanging around the boat and everywhere on the boat.
Yeah.
So you pack like a sardine. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to see if I don't know if we can do this. I'm going to try to put this boat. This is just a picture of it from the book.
It just looked like that.
You know,
I find the closest picture I could to what I remember.
Yeah.
And it just looked like that.
That's crazy.
It's a human boat and it's all just filled up with human. Yeah.
Okay.
And you got no place to, yeah. So basically we all got on board and then we all finally take off. And the moment we take off, and then we like I said, the 2 years of strategize to leave the country for being, learning people to get to the path and get to the place and, go navigating to the route. And they bribe all the gate, the river, where you're exiting the, from place to place, and, they have guards. And
so they're bribing them? Oh.
They all been bribed. They all been paid.
Of course.
And say, hey, this time, this moment, and this boat will be, going through.
Yeah, just look the other way.
So they all been bribed, and then, of course, when we get to that point, and then we full throttle on the boat.
Wow.
And then they still have the duty to do what they need to do. They shoot at us.
I see.
They bomb at us, but they intentionally miss.
I see.
So they aim high. They miss the whatever they launch. Yeah. But you do hear that, we get shot at, and you see bullet hole all over with the sun ray coming in the bullet hole the next day. And so we escaped full throttle, and then my mom covering all 5 of us on top of us. And so we literally, on the bottom of the boat. And one lady was unlucky. The bullet somehow landed on her stomach and she passed. Nobody even know. She was 21-year-old young lady, got killed from a bullet. Oh, wow. And the very next day, we blessed her. We put her body into the ocean. Sure. And that was the first time everybody started throwing up. You cannot imagine how bad the smell is a dead person overnight. Yeah. With the blood. Yeah, so we all throwing up like crazy. Yeah, so since we are city people, we're not used to the motion of the boat rocking. Right. And so that's the first time I throwing up, anything and everything I had in my body.
Wow.
So I still remember that moment. I still remember that moment, carrying out her body.
Yeah. And that's no small matter, because the fact that you are throwing up, I mean, you are throwing up liquids too, right? So, and you need,
yellow
whatever
liquid.
you have, you need
yellow liquid, the bitter liquid. Yeah.
But I'm saying that this is going to further dehydrate you. Wow.
We already dehydrated and hungry at the time.
Yeah.
There's no food for 2 days already.
Wow.
Okay, so basically we full throttle, we continue, after we pass the gate, we in the ocean now. So we all celebrating at the time. hey, we passed this and we save, and then now it's just a target.
Yeah.
And then the target will be 2 days, and then we'll be at Malaysia.
Wow.
And that's what's planned. Okay. Guess what? 3 hours later, the pump blew up, overheated. When it blew up, the cover on the boat got blew off. That's good. Lucky nobody was sleeping on top of it. If there's somebody sleeping on it, it's gone. So the lid got blew off. The engine was completely dead from that moment.
Full-blown explosion, huh?
Yeah, because it was full throttle, and then we came to find out our boat was sabotaged. Our boat was sabotaged. So basically, when we pay to the people who prepping the boat and getting water and food on it and hiring a driver, the boat driver, which is we call captain, which is a countryman over there. And he got 10 kids, but he only brought one kid with him, the youngest son, with him for that trip. He didn't bring any of his family except one little kid with him. And we believe he's the one who sabotaged the kid. And then we found out there's a bar soap. In Vietnam, the soap, it comes in a square bar, like two inch by 2 inch, but 1 foot long. And then you cut it into section, and when you use it, he stuffed the whole bar soap into the exhaust pipe. That's when that's what sabotaged the engine being overheated.
But why would he do that? I mean, because so that
he wouldn't have to travel? His intention is he wanted to get caught. He already got the money for his family.
Oh, God.
He wanted to go back.
I see.
He doesn't want to go with us.
Wow.
Yeah. And then guess what? The part of the story is the captain, Mr. Yin, he got a brother who serves for the U.S. Navy. He's a U.S. Navy, and he's in the prison. And escaped the prison, joined us on the boat.
You know, I read that in
the book. He's a Navy SEAL. That guy is a Navy SEAL.
I read that, but I thought that it was like a typo. But
no. He's a Navy SEAL that served for the U.S. Army, U.S. Navy.
Wow.
And then he just literally, bribed off and paid off and came out of the prison and joined us to escape the country.
Wow.
Okay, he's the one who's sharpening up the knife and trying to chop up that Mr. Tan. Because he's the one who realized, our boat is turning backward and our boat is being sabotaged. He knows because he's trained military guy. So he's ready sharpening up the knife already. So he's gonna ready to kill that guy, and then somehow Mr. Yin stop him. He said, "We no need to have any life taken from here, and let's focus on escaping. Turn the boats around, and then see what we can fix on the boat and see." But the boat engine was not fixable. Wow. I think it did ran for maybe an hour or two, and then it completely
just died.
Unfixable. From there on, it was drifting.
Wow.
And we were at South China Sea. You know where the sandbar today China claimed is theirs? That's where we at the time. And the reef was very high, and the water was very shallow. And in that area, people with radar to read about it, and they don't go nearby area like that, because your boat can get hit on the low on the high sandbar stuff. But today they already surfaced. Either the water came down or the rock grew up. But anyway, we were over there for drifting, and then first week we see big boat ride by, and then we burn everything we could. We scream all we could, and nobody listening, and nobody know what we're doing, I guess, and not rescuing. And then we burn whatever we have, and all the shoes are gone, and whatever clothing can be burned for rescue. And so I would say first week or 10 days, you see ships and boats, other out in the ocean. And then the last, after 10 days on, it was just oceans and sky. There's nothing over there. Wow. And then guess what? We already dehydrate when we get on. and all the dry food that is on the boat that is prepared for the trip, it was all sabotaged too. Nothing can be eaten. And all the rice they brought on board, it was already mixed with diesel. You can't eat those things. It's already been sabotaged. Everything has been sabotaged, and you can't. So nothing on there can be eaten. So basically, we have no gear for fish. We have nothing. We just planning for 2-day trip, and now we are tripping over 10 days and without water and anything. And the first week and two, there's a couple rain drop and then you can catch it. And then we were surviving with a tablespoon or teaspoon a day and with no food. And our body starts shutting down.
Still,
after so long. Everything has been sabotaged and you can't. So nothing on there can be eaten. So basically we have no gear for fish. We have nothing. We just planning for 2-day trip. And now we are tripping over 10 days and without water and anything. And the first week and two, there's a couple rain drop and then you can catch it. And then we were surviving with a tablespoon or teaspoon a day and with no food. And our body starts shutting down.
Still,
after so long.
And again, 100 so people in a boat, you're very close together, and it's and it must be tough. Now, just real quick, so you had mentioned about the reef there, the coral reef or whatever that
If it's high, yeah.
That you all hit one and got stuck, didn't
Yes.
you?
I think 2 weeks on, and our boat did land on the reef, and so it was in the middle of the night, and so our boat is a flat bottom boat, not a V bottom, so we have a 3-layer of brick to stabilize the boat from, because the boat is not made to get into the deep ocean.
Yeah.
It's a fisherman's boat for the lake. It's not really made for ocean type of boat or ship.
So I remember you all put a bunch of bricks in there to
they stack 3 layers of bricks on the bottom, so all the people just sleeping on top of it. Yeah. So basically, when we hit the reef, and the captain, the Mr. Yin said, we have to relieve the weight. So all the younger, like including my dad and my older brother, he was 14 years old, chucking out brick over the window and line up the weight. And then all the people who are 20 and up and to 50 has to get off the boat to alleviate the weight. Otherwise, we all dead. So guess what? These peoples are already, 2 weeks no food and drink, and then where are they gonna find the energy
to swim? Yeah. So you're trying to get people out of the boat so the boat will lift up and then move on
because
the
of
reef.
the way. So it was rubbing the bottom. It go like, you're afraid the reef will cut a hole in it and you'll be done. Yeah. And then fortunately, the water rise pretty quickly. Within an hour, our boat floating again.
Yeah.
And now we're left with no way on the bottom. And the higher tides start coming in. The boat rock like this.
Yeah.
And we're sleeping on the bottom of the boat. We can see the ocean from the window, like 7-8 feet above. So the boat was rocking this way. You can literally see the ocean from the bottom of the boat. Wow. So it's a scary moment. And during the course of the 21 day, and 6 people die. One die after the other, with different problem, with infection, with dehydration, with fever. Whoever, not feeling well will not survive. Put it that way. You have no water. Your body needs water. Yeah. So 6 other people died beside the lady got shot. And so during that 21 day, and after 10 or 14 day, my mom got into a situation. She turned purple. Is like turning unconscious. She's losing too much blood, the womanly cycle. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And she's turning purple. And then by chance, my dad say, pee in the can. Tell all of us, where are we going to find pee? We have no drink. We squeeze everything we could from all 5 kids to pee in the can, make up a little bit. My mom drank the urine, and she turned red. She turned normal again.
Wow.
Guess what? From there on, everybody's drinking their own urine.
Wow. So I remember
It's just
reading
by
about
chance,
that. Yeah, that you just were taking a chance, and it appeared that she was very, very close to death.
Yeah,
And
she's
then
very close to death, and she turned purple already.
and
Yeah.
and your dad said to pee in this cup, and then she drank the urine,
Not
and
a
she
cup, it's a rusty can.
a rusty can, a rusty
Rusty
can.
can
She
on the
drinks it and
floor.
comes back to life, basically.
And then she literally comes back to life because now she's replenished, even though it's urine. And it's still, we learned that people drink ocean water, die from it. And that's why nobody, among the 7 that die, some of them drink ocean water.
Yeah, I think that's
because you further dehydration your body, and then you just go into shock and done. Yeah.
Other
So
people died, and there was a little bit more about the little girl, right? The 2-year-old girl.
The little girl among the 7 died. She was the last one passed. So basically, the storm started coming, okay, at that night, and she just died right before the storm coming. Okay, she passed 2 hours before the storm come. When the storm come, the Filipino boat came by us. Ain't that weird?
Wow.
And the Filipino boat told us, we spot you 7 days, 10 days ago, and we signal you. Nobody sees us. Nobody reply to us. Nobody train or have gear to see, somebody signaling you. And they already know you guys in a very dangerous area. We don't go nearby there.
Very interesting. So let me back you up just a little bit, Ken, about the little girl. How did she die?
She died of natural cause, dehydrations and being too long not having food and water.
And all of these people, you obviously sent them into the ocean, right?
Yeah, we blessed, and then we just put their body into the ocean.
But
and guess what?
Survived.
Guess what? During the course of dumping body into the ocean, shark following us. We see shark. I saw shark behind the boat.
Following you because
because we're using all the ocean water to cool us down. So my mom bought a bucket, and in fact, that bucket had lost. And Mr. Yun's brother dived in and saved the bucket. Without that bucket, everybody, suffer more, because the bucket we use it to cook whatever that we could, boiling water, steaming the ocean water for water, and getting the steam,
the condensation,
the condensation. And so that bucket has saved lives, and it was fell to the ocean, and he dived in and saved the bucket. Wow. And today I have that bucket, and I can share with you. Just give me a sec.
I want to see this. I saw a picture of it, but yes, please.
Kevin.
Yes.
This bucket. My uncle made it. My mom's uncle, my grand uncle made it.
That is just incredible.
This is the very rope that tied to this to scoop water from the ocean to pull us down. This bucket already fell into the ocean. He dived in and saved it.
I don't want to get too philosophical or misty-eyed about that, but I guess I just want to ask, when you look at that bucket, what does it represent to you? I'm curious to know what
my life saving. It's saving a lot of lives. This bucket, it was burned to like dark black, with shoes and with clothing burning, and my mom cleaned it back because it's made out of stainless steel. Yeah,
just amazing.
It's literally made by my grand uncle.
That's incredible.
Yeah, he made it. Yeah, so it's not something you can buy.
No, that's a treasure.
That's a sentimental.
Lord, my goodness gracious.
So I did ask my mom. I want to keep it.
Oh goodness. I mean,
So
that's just,
I had this in my cabinet. Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Mhm.
Okay, so Ken, okay, so kind of set us up for when you eventually saw the Filipino boat and this, that, and the other, so we can move into that area.